Good morning again, everybody. Bright and early, still gloomy outside, a little bit cooler, so we've got something a little bit warmer on today. Oh, I've got my coffee propped up on the bookcase there. The table's a little bit wobbly for the coffee, but it's a bit hot yet because it's just poured it. Still a little bit early, and always and forever with you. So, what I want to have a look at today is Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Now, he's released an official document, press release. His only method of communication, because Twitter and Facebook have banned him from their platforms, so his only way to get any message out in a printed form is for him to release these so-called official documents from the desk of the, oh please, what a WABK. So excuse my language, but it's just ridiculous. Anyhow, so he's released this document saying that if he's elected in 2024, he will pardon anybody that rises up and protests on his behalf, including those for the January the 6th coup attempt. So in the official document, which I find actually quite hilarious in a ridiculous sort of way, in that even in an official document, he's name calling like a schoolyard childish bully. It's just undignified and gutterish. I'm sorry. But anyhow, so he's released this document that says if he's elected, he'll pardon anybody that protests, blah, blah, blah. So basically what he's doing is giving people some security that if they protest, he will pardon them, and it's encouraging them to come out and actually cause chaos on his behalf. Now, what the press release was about was the update of the language of the Electoral Act. So what he's saying is that, if they're updating the Electoral Act, it means that obviously Pence could have challenged the election results and overturned them. No, it doesn't. It does not mean that whatsoever. The Electoral Act actually Pence's role was merely ceremonial. His role was to open the envelopes and read out what it said on the message and the results inside the envelope. He had no authority whatsoever to overturn anything. And that is in the Electoral Act. The problem is the Electoral Act was written in 1887 in a time where there was an assumption that people understood the basic decency, the basic rules of engagement, the base, went with the assumption of that you would go with the meaning of the term. It didn't have to be spelt out. So it's a bit like, so what's happening is all they're doing is they're updating the language to make it perfectly clear of what the Act actually does say. It's a bit like when you think back to a car manual from the 1960s, a car manual would tell you how to adjust your spark plugs and replace your belt and to basically rebuild the motor itself. Nowadays, the manual tells you not to drink the lighter fluid. It's just, so what it is it's, it's like the warning nowadays telling you not to stick your hand in the blender. That's the sort of language that they're going to have to write it in, so that there can be absolutely no grey area, ambiguity, twisting of words, which is what has happened. So if nothing else, what has happened is highlighted the lack in some of the documentation to make it perfectly clear, do not drink the brake fluid. We're not going to tell you now how to change the oil. We're just going to tell you not to drink the brake fluid. So this is the investigation. So what I want to have a look at. So I'm using today my Golden Universal Tarot, which is what I use when I'm talking about Trump, because in all honesty, he is a fool's gold. All that glitters is not gold. And that sums Trump up to a T. So going to use these to read on Trump today. I have read this in the past. Readings can change. The reason why some of them don't come true is because everybody has free will to take a different path to the one that they are currently on if new information is presented, or they simply have an epiphany moment. So just want to ask, I have never seen him running. I see Trump sitting in an okie dokie, sort of okayish, mediocre nursing home. He's parked in the corner of a large wide hallway next to a big window, where he's literally just head on his chest muttering away about how unfair everything was, and plotting revenge and all the rest of it in what appeared like some stage of dementia, but it may have just been paranoia or whatever. And he's literally just picking at the arm of it's not a cream coloured, that sort of really light creamy grey coloured vinyl armchair. So it's not even a leather armchair. No friends, no family visiting, no money. I don't see him going to jail, but that's how I see him ending up, which I think is probably more of a punishment than if he went to jail as a martyr. Anyhow, tell me, will Trump go to... Okay, going to do 2 readings. I'll do my basic forecast spread. Will Trump run for president in 2024? And then I'll do a full Celtic cross in regards to will he be criminally charged? So, shall do 2. Will there be protests if Trump is charged, and will he be criminally charged? Right. Illusion and delusion. Trump land through and through. Trump land through and through. Illusion and delusion. Okay. Will Trump run for president in 2024? Will Donald Trump? All he's doing at the moment is, by keeping himself in the public light, he is grifting money, and that's all he's interested in, is the money. I don't think he's interested in the presidency. Will Trump run for president in 2024? Will Trump run for president in 2024? Quick looky, down we come. Wee-hee. The Emperor. This is Trump under investigation. All major arcana. This is interesting. King of Swords. My fault. King of Swords. The pack's trickstering on me, because the first thing I saw was the Emperor, but no, King of Swords. So this is investigation. Investigation. Then we have Temperance, which is a rebalancing, also moderation, bringing the country back to moderation, and the end of a cycle. Passing on the baton to the next generation. So no, he's going to be under massive, powerful investigation, exposure. Again, another investigation card. And what's going to happen is we're going to come back to a moderation, a rebalancing, as the country becomes more grounded in reality, And it is the end of the era for money. Interesting. A lot of pentacles showing up. So what we've got here is basically this. It is Major Arcana can be a yes card, but you have to look beyond that. We've got this the Hanged Man, which means it'll be suspended, paused, can mean sacrifice, but this is just, it's not going to happen as he's dwelling in his life of luxury. This comes back to what I said about he's not actually interested in the presidency except to avoid. The only reason he wants the presidency is to avoid this investigation. But he won't. We've got the end of the era of money. It will be paused, suspended, so no, he won't, as there's a rebalancing coming back to the US democracy system, which I have read on the voter rights bill, and yes, it will get through. May get through in a compromise form to start with, but at least they get something through, and then after the midterms they can add to it. He is exposed as living this life of luxury, and the US gets back to a place of security, domestic security. Base of the pack, an overwhelming of emotion, anxiety, as you've got the Gluttonous Merchant. Gee, I wonder who that is. The Gluttonous Merchant. Again, many meanings. This can mean also wish fulfillment, but in this particular incident, it can mean the smug merchant, but just looking at this particular figure in this card, it just sprung into mind. And as I've said in the past, if you're reading tarot, all cards have many meanings, and you need to go with the one that springs to mind first, and that was Gluttonous Merchant. Complete and utter downfall, end of an era, and then we've got the Democrats. So no for Mr. Trump, not running in 2024. So now, quick look, will Donald Trump be criminally charged? He's known as Teflon Don for a reason. He very rarely puts things in writing. He will imply rather than actually give orders. He will suggest, and therefore those that want to impress him will take on the suggestions and run with them. Slippery character, learned it all off his father. So will Donald Trump actually be criminally charged? I might do the 4-card reading for this, and then I'll do the full spread for the protests. Will Donald Trump be criminally charged for anything? Will Donald Trump be criminally charged? No, not charged. Will he be prosecuted? So in other words, will it get through and he will actually be found to be guilty? Will Donald Trump be prosecuted with anything? Will Donald Trump be prosecuted? Money laundering, grifting, installing unqualified peoples, accepting bribes, rape. Will he be? What's the word for the? What did I have it down as the other day? The where he. Oh, the ones that what the Proud Boys are going through at the moment. Not the authoritarian rule. Sorry, did a couple of weeks back. It's about with the Oath Keepers. Seditious conspiracy. Will he be? It's another thing. Oh, goodness. On the base, we've got the Hierophant, which is about the legal systems and government. Will Trump be charged with anything? Inciting riots, inciting coups, seditious, conspiracy, money laundering, bribes, traitor? Will Trump be prosecuted for anything? So many court cases, right? Quick 4 cards. This is quite an uncomfortable card, even though it is the Lovers. If you look at it, you notice that the female is looking at the godlike figure, the male is looking at the female. They're not actually in alignment with each other. So it's about difficult choices having to be made, a misalignment of relationships and contracts in this particular deck. Oh, the dark money comes to the surface, secrets to be revealed, and he will be battling. And there we have him, the devil himself. Abuse of power, betrayal, sabotage. This is the base of the pack now. Messages about it will come out very quickly. There is a murky underbelly that will be exposed and will lead to an inevitable ending, a culmination. So I'm seeing a yes, he will, whether he ever spends, sorry, base of the pack just caught my eye. There will be messages about the money trail, death. So yes, he will be prosecuted. Whether he ever faces jail time is another matter. So quickly, as we're up to 17 minutes already, I want to have a quick look at if Trump is charged. Now he's calling for protests. Oh goodness, we've seen, you know, the attempted storm of our own government in the last couple of days, our own parliament in the last couple of days by the disinformed anti-vaxxers. Now, I was listening to a segment on the radio the other day that was talking about the difference between misinformation and disinformation. Misinformation is when you are given the wrong information, but it can be, oh, whoops, I've given you the wrong information. Sorry, I retract that. Here's the right information. So misinformation is about giving the wrong information, but it can be unintentional. Disinformation, which is what we are really talking about when it comes to the anti-vaxxers, etc., is deliberate supplying of the wrong information. So just be aware of those two different terminologies if you're ever talking to anybody. So what we're facing in the world today is significant amounts of disinformation. The person that was being interviewed, he's actually written a book about fake news and the prevalence of fake news in society, which is why he was talking about disinformation, and analysts of Trump's, gosh, listen to that rain, it's absolutely teeming down, analysts of Trump's 2016 campaign assessed everything that he said during the campaign, and basically what they came up with is that 70% of what he said, whether it be verbally, by Twitter, by Facebook, whatever method he used to get his point across, 70% was either false, an outright lie. So don't mix it up with calling it fake news or whatever. It was either an outright lie, or it was at least significantly false. So a significantly a lie with elements of truth in it to get it over the line of, oh, it could actually be true. So just keep that in mind. 70%. That's just horrific. And then when you add that in with the FBI after the Rittenhouse, was it Rittenhouse, Kyle Rittenhouse, Rittenberg, Rittenhouse I think it was, case, They follow the social media in regards to that case, and it turned out that 90% of the social media posts, because there were a significant amount of posts, following that case, either supporting Rittenhouse before he got off or comments made after he got off, 90% of those posts were made by either bots, so this is AI algorithms that are just posting stuff, or they were posted by people that were paid to post that information. So in other words, Ivan and Igor in the basement in Russia. So 90%. No wonder there's a lot of confusion, but also to take that a step further. Sorry, I'm waffling again. Off on a tangent again. I'll just flutter off here. But keep that in mind, because what it then does make appear is that there was more support than what Rittenhouse actually received. And it's the same with the Republicans. It's the same with Donald Trump. Now, not all Republicans, Trumpsters, I'm talking about Trumpsters here, they appear that they have more support than they really do because of these analytical tricks that happen and these false declarations and false posts. So keep that in mind. Register to vote. Make sure everybody you know is registered properly. Check your registration. If you need to take people to the polling station to vote, do so. Try and vote early. Try and get an early vote in if you can, to avoid, because in some states they're going to be making it so difficult to vote on the day. So if you vote early, it then does leave you available on the day to support those that are waiting in the queues to vote. So if you need to take them food or drink or whatever. So just whatever methods you feel you can supply, take people in to put their early vote in the letterbox, take them down to the lines to vote. Goodness me, I'm getting right off track here, so back to the question. Okay, reel it in. Will there be protests if Trump is charged? Emotional, interesting. The truth, piercing the crown. You start with the truth, and there will be a new emotional start as well. A lot of people will just go and breathe a sigh of relief. Okay, tell me, will there be protests if Trump is charged? I'll use this as a double-barrel question. Will Trump be charged, and will there be protests? Will Trump be charged, and will there be protests? Sticky cards falling out again. Return to moderation. Will Trump be charged, and will there be protests? Bit of a double barrel. Will Trump be charged, and will there be protests? Okay, spring along with me. Oh my goodness. Ooh, here he is. Monsieur Le Trump. The Trumpster, Trumpery, challenged by the giving and receiving of money, the money trail, the laundering, the bribery. This is what the legal officials are following. Okay, foundation of his reading. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Heartbreak, loss, betrayal, despair. In the past, he thought he was King Muck. He thought he was visionary and that he was empowering, but this is in the past. He thought he was a great orator. Right. Crowning the reading. Oh, goodness me. Crowning the reading. Potential future. Powerful. Don't need me to explain that. King being trampled underfoot. Right, here we go. The immediate future. Information is going to come forward very quickly. Rapid fire. External influences on Trump and his protesters is that they will be forced by the truth into retreat. They will be wounded by the truth. Internal influences. So we've got the Knight of Wands. There is within the ranks still inspired and spontaneous, but they are risk-taking. This is also a knight bringing forth a powerful message. So this is somewhat how they see themselves. Now, I am a horse rider, and I'm looking at him perched on that horse, and he looks so uncomfortable. He's perched on it like a racing jockey, not like a knight going into battle. He's got his faceplate open. The horse is pulling back in a hesitant manner, because the knight is not pulling back on the reins in this picture. If he was pulling back on the reins, the horse's head would be tucked down against his neck, and it's not. The horse is going, oh, hang on, not sure that I want to go there. And the knight himself is looking as though he is immature, uncertain. So this is the internal influences of his supporters. This rapid bringing of the truth has made them take a real backward step and question themselves about the message that they're being given. Hopes and fears. Ooh, okay. So this is insecurity, hanging on for dear life, grifting, trying to hold on to his money. This is Trump's fear, that he's going to lose his money. And he knows that. He is fully aware of that at the moment. Insecurity on a financial level. A new financial start. But this is a new start. It's quite a powerful new start because it's also about work as well as finances, as well as domestic security, being able to provide, to encourage financial achievement, about mentoring and practicality. It is also a steady and diligent symbol, the Pentacles, but there will be a new start, an inevitable ending, but also a call to arms and a collective awakening in regards to the money. A collective awakening. These are his supporters. They're suddenly realizing Ace of Pentacles can also mean fool's gold. A fool and his money are soon parted. The old saying, collective awakening, a realization, and an inevitable ending as the investigation comes underway. And there is progress in the investigation. So I'll ask quickly about there will be some very strong new messages coming forward, new start in regards to the, this is base of the pack, in regards to the deception, abuse of power, betrayal, a coming together, a celebration for the Democrats, joining forces, exposing the, this is lies and deceit, this is the betrayal of power. And there is hope for the future as the US is restored. So this is not telling me that there are actually going to be any protests. I will ask very quickly at 29 minutes. Sorry, I get off on these tangents and reel myself back in again after a while. Oh, sorry about that. Very quickly, Will there be protests? Will there be extreme protests? There will be protests. I can tell you that now. There will be protests. I'm just seeing little packs, maybe 100, couple of hundred, you know, who think that they're more than whom they are, entertainment purposes only, think they have more power than what they actually do. What it is they are, a lot of them are people who have no real passionate purpose in their own lives, and they are coming together because they see themselves as part of something bigger than whom they are. It'd be nice if they directed their energy towards something positive, but will there be extreme protests if Donald Trump is charged? Will there be extreme protests if Donald Trump is charged? Will there be extreme protests if Donald Trump is charged? Loss. Not seeing it. Not extreme protests. This is about the possibilities of the future. They'll try and manifest something, but this is a pie in the sky idea. You've got the fish in the cup. Another deck I've got, there is actually a pig flying past. So it is, you know, pigs might fly type thing, something to be revealed, and it's a new start for the country. Again, we've got the inevitable ending and inner strength, and also taking control, compassionate power. That's what we have in your government at the moment, is a compassionate power being hamstrung by the upper house, the McConnell and his cronies, but it is coming to an end, will happen quickly, as the midterms will be a decisive moment. But no, there will be protests. I'm not seeing mass riots, violence, etc. Okay, thank you for joining me. Sorry that these last few readings are taking a while. Try and get them down again. Take care, look after yourselves, love and light, stay hopeful, look after those in your community. Keep your hope, because that is the difference between progressives and conservatives. Progressives have hope for the future. Progressives lack hope, and that's why they're trying to cling to fear and the past. Okay, take care. Love you all. Talk to you later.